Hello everyone, welcome to the Lang Focus channel and my name is Paul. One question that I'm frequently asked is, what language is most closely related to English? Well, some people would say Scots, but that's debated because other people would say that Scots is a variety of English. Leaving that debate aside, if we think of English and Scots together, then what language is most closely related to them? The answer is the Frisian language. Or maybe I should say the Frisian languages, in the plural. Anglo-Frisian is a sub-branch of the West Germanic languages. It consists of the Anglic languages, English and Scots, or you can think of this as just English if you want, and the Frisian languages, a group of closely related languages that developed from Old Frisian. Old Frisian and Old English were very close to each other, but that doesn't mean that Frisian and English are mutually intelligible today. English has changed dramatically due to contact with other languages like Norman French, and the various varieties of Frisian have been influenced by Germanic languages in their respective regions. The most widely spoken Frisian language by far is West Frisian, which is spoken by over 450,000 people, mainly in the Friesland province of the Netherlands, where it's co-official with Dutch at the provincial level. Then there's North Frisian, spoken in parts of the state of Schleswig-Holstein, in northern Germany. It's spoken by fewer than 10,000 people and is considered endangered. Then there's Saterland Frisian, which is only spoken by a couple of thousand people in one municipality, Saterland, in the Lower Saxony state in Germany. Saterland Frisian is seriously endangered as most of its speakers are older. All three Frisian languages consist of a number of dialects, even Saterland Frisian, with 3 villages having their own dialects. Frisian used to be spoken over a much wider area of the North Sea coast. Old Frisian was spoken and written throughout the 15th century, but lost its status as a written language when rulers of Friesland made Dutch the dominant language, first under Duke Albert III of Saxony, then under Habsburg rule, then under an independent Netherlands in which Holland was dominant. A quick side note, what's the difference between Holland and Netherlands? I thought they were the same. Nope. Just like England is only one part of the United Kingdom, Holland is only one part of the Netherlands. Actually, 2 parts, the provinces of North Holland and South Holland. The other provinces, including Friesland, are part of the Netherlands but not part of Holland. So, Holland became the most influential part of the Netherlands, and Dutch remained the dominant language. Frisian became mainly a spoken language for a long time, and this period coincides with the Middle Frisian period. Over a century later, in the 17th century, Frisian poet Gijsbert Japiks wrote poems in Frisian to revive it as a literary language. Then, Johannes Hylardes began trying to standardize written Frisian's orthography and pronunciation. While Japiks wrote in a more traditional literary style, Hylardes tried to make the standard language more similar to how people actually spoke. Another Frisian, Jahe Halbertsma, translated many plays and books, including the Bible, into modern West Frisian, and this is what really started the movement to preserve modern West Frisian. That movement picked up in the early 20th century and continues till this day. So, what is modern Frisian like? Well, that depends on which of the 3 main varieties we're talking about, because they are distinct languages. In this video, we'll focus on West Frisian, the most widely spoken Frisian language. First, some basic phrases in West Frisian. Hello.
Hoi.
Good morning.
Goeiemorgen.
Please.
Alsjeblieft.
I'd like some coffee, please.
Ik zou graag wat koffie willen.
Thank you.
Dank u wel.
Thank you very much.
Tegen dank.
Note that unlike English, Frisian doesn't have dental fricative sounds, like th as in English thank you, or the as in English that. Excuse me.
Neem het me net kwijt aan.
Where's the restroom?
Waar is het huisje?
I understand.
Ik begreep het.
I don't understand.
Ik begreep het net.
I love Friesland.
Ik houd van Friesland.
Holy shit.
Blikstender.
Now let's examine some sentences in Frisian. This sentence means, those are her books.
Dat binnen haar boeken.
As you can see, the syntax here is the same in both languages, and most of the words are all cognate. This one, binne, may look different, but it resembles the word been in English, doesn't it? This is a form of the verb meaning to be, which is cognate with the English word. But in West Frisian, the infinitive is
wijze,
which makes more sense if you look at the past tense forms. Boeken is the plural form, Frisian has two ways of forming the plural. N or en for nouns that have a stressed final syllable, and s for nouns that end in unstressed syllables, and also after diminutive endings. This sentence has a possessive adjective, but how is possession shown if we specify who the possessor is, with a name for example? Those are Fenna's books.
Dat binnen Fenna's boeken.
Possession can be expressed with a genitive ending on the noun, similar to English apostrophe s. Old Frisian had a system of numerous grammatical cases for nouns, but just like in English, those case forms have been lost except for the genitive. But the genitive case form has become much less common too, and now it's much more common to use the word van to express possession.
Dat binnen de boeken van Fenna.
Word for word it's, those are the books of Fenna. Notice that the definite article, de, comes before the noun, and then van comes after it. Another way that might be even more common is this.
Dat binnen Fenna haar boeken.
Word for word, those are Fenna her books. The possessive adjective is used in place of the genitive ending. It's interesting that these periphrastic ways of expressing the genitive have become more common than the genitive ending. It seems to show the continued erosion of the Frisian case system. Going back to this sentence for a second.
Dat binnen de boeken van Fenna.
Note the definite article, de. There's one more definite article, it. Frisian has two grammatical genders, common gender and the neuter gender. De is used with singular common gender nouns and with all plural nouns. It is used with singular neuter nouns. Boek is neuter, but it's in the plural form, so its definite article is de. Let's try making that sentence singular. That is Fenna's book.
Dat is het boek van Fenna.
Notice that the definite article is it, because boek is singular neuter. Also, as we saw before with the plural sentence, possession can be expressed in those other ways too.
Dat is Fenna's boek.
This is possible but not common anymore.
Dat is Fenna haar boek.
Is the most common. You may have noticed that the demonstrative pronoun dot, like that in English, is used for both singular and plural. In other words, for both that and those. In West Frisian, there's a distinction between demonstrative pronouns and demonstrative adjectives. The demonstrative pronouns are dit, meaning this or these, used for both genders, and dot, meaning that or those, also used for both genders. Demonstrative pronouns are used as equivalents or substitutes of the noun. Demonstrative adjectives are used to modify nouns and come directly before them. For common gender singular and for all plural nouns, diese, meaning this or these, and die, meaning that or those. And for neuter singular nouns, dit, meaning this, and dot, meaning that. Here's a pair of sentences to show you the distinction between demonstrative pronouns and demonstrative adjectives.
Dat binnen haar boeken. Die boeken binnen van haar.
Another sentence. She has read 15 books this year.
She had dit year 15 boeken lezen.
Word for word it's, she has this year 15 books read. This sentence begins with the personal pronoun she, which is a cognate of English she. Basically all the personal pronouns in West Frisian are cognate equivalents of the ones in English. Next we see the third person singular present tense conjugation of the verb
Have.
The present tense forms correspond quite closely with the English present tense forms, but look at the past tense forms. In English, the past tense conjugations collapsed into a single past tense form, based on the first and third person singular forms, but Frisian still maintains distinct past tense conjugations. Next we see dit year, meaning this year. Year is a neuter singular noun, so the demonstrative adjective is dit, rather than diese. Next we see the number 15, obviously a cognate with English 15. Let's hear a few more numbers.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 30.
All of these numbers are cognate with English numbers, but there's a difference in numbers like 34,
34.
literally 4 and 30. Lezen is the past participle form of the verb lese, meaning to read. Lese has cognates in numerous Germanic languages, including Dutch, lezen, and German lesen. Another sentence. This one means we usually stay at home in the evening.
We blijven normaal jongs thuis.
Word for word it's, we stay normally in the evening at home. The verb blijven is a cognate of the English word believe, which means stay or remain, but is obsolete in the standard language. Normaal is like normal or normally, of course. Of course, you could say normally in English as well, making these two sentences more similar. Juns is the genitive form of jun, which means evening. The genitive form of nouns is sometimes used as a temporal adverb marker to form adverbs of time. Finally, the word tush was originally a contraction of two words, ta plus hush. This is the equivalent of the Dutch word thuis. One final sentence. Almost everyone went home early because of the storm.
Haast elke nienkie betiet naar huis vanwege de storm.
Word for word it's, almost everyone went early to home because of the storm. This word, elkenien, can be broken down into two parts, meaning precisely every plus one. This word, gia, is the third person singular past tense conjugation of gaan, the verb meaning to go. In Old English and in Old Frisian, it was gone. Betied. One part of this word, tied, means time. The first part, b, is related to a preposition, be, meaning by or at. But this is now an inseparable word. Vanwege. This word means because of, but can be broken down into the parts meaning of plus way. Though because of the spelling of wege, I think this might be a loanword from Dutch, vanwege. Finally, storm is a singular common gender noun, so its definite article is de rather than it. Hopefully you can see that West Frisian is a language that shares much in common with English, but that also shares a lot in common with other Germanic languages, sometimes seemingly more so than with English. But don't make the mistake of thinking that West Frisian is a dialect of Dutch, or that the other varieties of Frisian are dialects of German. They are distinct languages that are worthy of recognition and preservation. The question of the day. For native speakers of any of the Frisian languages, how much do you use Frisian in your day-to-day life? And how much do you use a different language, specifically Dutch or German? And for other people, does West Frisian seem similar to English to you? What stood out to you as being similar? A special thanks goes out to my Patreon supporters, especially these wonderful people right here on the screen. They are my top-tier Patreon supporters, so many extra special thanks to them, as always. If you're interested in learning Frisian, one place you can start is learnfrisian.com. The guy who runs the site actually provided the Frisian samples for this video. It's a free language course, something like Duolingo for Frisian. So give it a try. And to everyone, thank you for watching and have a nice day.